Hi, this is Lara at Elliott Wave Stock Market with a free Dow analysis for you after the new session dated Wednesday 11th of January is over. This is my main daily wave count for the Dow. I'm not going to present my alternate today because it's looking incredibly unlikely. I'm just going to present this main one today. This main wave count sees the Dow in a C wave at intermediate degree to the upside to end primary 2, wave C black, unfolding as a simple impulse with a minor or blue 1, 2, 3, 4, and working on the end of blue or minor wave 5. So this is an expiring trend. We've got increasing divergence with MACD trending down while price trends higher. The highest reading for MACD is within this third wave, which is what would be expected, and the fifth wave still hasn't managed to make as high a reading as wave 1 did, which is also exactly to be expected and gives a pretty good indication of an expiring trend. And pretty much as expected, we would also expect this fifth wave to come to end around about midway in this wide trend channel, drawn here using Elliott's technique around an impulse. Wave 4 fell a fair bit short of the lower edge of the channel. That's okay, sometimes that happens. And wave 5 usually and often ends around about midway in the channel. We're expecting a little bit more upwards movement, and I've got another target to the upside calculated. And this one seems a little bit more likely now because the structure is pretty close to completion. At 11,974, wave 5 pink, starting here on up, will reach 1.618, the length of wave 3 pink. At 12,084, wave 5 blue will reach equality with wave 1 blue, which starts off to the left of the chart. So that's my first and probably more likely target. If, however, price continues on upwards, and this upwards movement could still go a fair way longer and just draw it out and be a painfully long, slow, painful rise, the second target may then be useful for us. At 12,397, wave 5 pink will reach 2.618, the length of wave 3 pink, and at 12,479, wave 5 blue will reach equality with 3 blue, so that would be the next upwards target if we fail to see a turn somewhere in here or pretty close to this target. Within this fifth wave at blue degree, we have a 1, 2, 3, 4 and an extended fifth with a 1, 2, long 3, 4, and working on the final fifth wave to the upside. When we do see a trend change, and it will come, this is an expiring trend, when we do see it, when we see price move below 10,720, we will then have some confirmation that primary 3 would be underway. Until that point, downwards movement could technically just be a second wave correction. If we moved all of this labelling down 1 degree, we would just be looking at the end of wave 1 within wave 5, and wave 2 can't move beyond the start of 1. So price movement below this point could just be a second wave correction. Alternatively, this could all be a third wave, although it would have a pretty strong 3-wave look and look like a horrible third wave. But just to rule out that very, very slim possibility, movement into wave 1 price territory would eliminate the possibility of downwards movement being a fourth wave. So that's why I say waiting for confirmation below 10,720 would eliminate that possibility and confirm to us that primary 3 would be underway. Taking you now to a 2-hourly chart where this green 4 down here is this point down here, and this is the last 5-wave structure to the upside for this whole movement. This is an impulse for 1. I was expecting that wave 2 was an ABCWX, ABCY double zigzag structure. That's not the case. We had a little bit further downwards movement. This was my invalidation point, and it spiked just below that. Invalidating on the short term, briefly, my hourly wave count. It looks like wave 2 extended as a regular expanded flat correction, a pretty typical looking one too, with a 3-wave structure for A, a pretty clear obvious 3-wave structure for B, and a 5-wave structure to the downside for C. Wave B is 144% correction of A, and wave C here is just 7 points longer than 1.618, the length of wave A, which is the most common relationship between A and C of an expanded flat, so that's pretty typical. Thereafter, this looks like a pretty good impulse for a third wave so far. A 1, 2, 3 is just a little bit longer than 1. There's no relationship between the two, and it's a little bit too much longer to say that they're reaching equality. It's 17 points longer. Reasonably equal, but it's longer. Thereafter, we're looking out for the end to a 4th wave correction, simple zigzag with an A, B, C, and C will reach equality with A, 11,727. bringing this fourth wave closer to the fourth wave of one lesser degree. Downwards movement in the short term for this wave count cannot move into wave 1 purple price territory. 4 can't move below 11,704. When this little piece of movement's over, probably in the next session, we'll see some more upwards movement for the Dow, for a fifth wave at purple degree to end wave 3 orange. When that's over, we'll be expecting another final fourth wave correction, and then I'll have to move the invalidation point up to here at 11,709 points, wave 4 orange, cannot move into wave 1 orange price territory. When that next fourth wave correction is over, we'll have one final fifth wave to the upside to end wave 5 green and end this whole upwards movement, which will probably take it up towards the first target that I have calculated for you on the daily chart. When that's over, we'll have a satisfactory 5-wave structure for this fifth wave, and this whole, just going back to the daily chart, this whole structure for this fifth wave at blue degree will be satisfactory, and the whole structure for wave C blue will have a pretty typical impulsive look, with a third wave that's longest and has the strongest readings on MACD. At that stage, it'll be extremely likely, and we should look out for a correction to the downside. The depth of this correction and the wave behaviour of this correction will give us a strong indication as to what wave degree we're looking at. I expect it's fairly likely to be at primary degree, but that's not going to be confirmed until price moves below 10,720. In the short term, looking out for this point here, 11,526, would be price movement below there would give us a pretty strong indication that we've seen a trend change. At that stage, we'd know that the trend's going to be down for at least a couple of weeks, but we won't be certain of what trend, what wave degree we're looking at and how far down it's going to go until we see price move below this point. Once we see it move below here, we can be fairly certain that the Dow's going to make new lows and going to continue on down probably for up to a year. In the short term, movement below 11,526 is required to confirm a trend change, because at that stage it can't just be a second wave correction within wave 5 green. Wave 5 green would have to be over. So a little bit of patience. We need another couple of upwards pushes before this is all over, and then we'll be looking out for a trend change and waiting for that price point 11,526 to be breached to the downside would be advisable. We have to assume that the trend remains up until proved otherwise, and it won't be proved otherwise until we see movement below that point. That's all for me with your Dow analysis, and I hope this helps you in your trading.